have met. Mr. Hart sighed. If dancing 3 times with a girl to whom one had been presented at a private party, subsequently accepting an invitation to a ball given by her mother, and following this up with a civil call to return thanks constitutes pursuit, I plead guilty. At all events, said Beulah somewhat viciously, Mrs. Haddington regards you as the best of the eligibles, and if she knew I was having tea with you now, she would probably give me the sack. In that case, you trot straight back to Charles Street, Ducky, and tell her, recommended Mr. Hart. Pausing only to pay the bill here, I will burst off to procure a special license so that we can be married tomorrow. You shall beguile some long winter's evening for me by recounting to me the circumstances which induced you to take a job as dog's body to that well-preserved corncrake. If you want to know, responded Miss Bertley, Dan Sittencarry got me the job. Now, how do you feel about marrying me? Shaken but staunch. Seriously, how did that woman muscle onto the fringe of decent society? I don't know, but I think she was sort of sponsored by Lady Nest Polton, said Beulah. They're very thick, that I do know. What times do we live in? To be sure, poor old Greystoke has had to sell his place, of course, but I shouldn't have thought an Ellerbeck would have stooped quite as low. That must be a thoroughly unfair remark, said Beulah. I know nothing about Lord Greystoke's circumstances, but everyone knows that Lady Nest's husband is rolling. Just what I was thinking, agreed Timothy. So what's the tie-up? Why should there be a tie-up? Because, my sweet, feather-headed, nitwit, though may she be, and indeed is, the Lady Nest does not make a bosom friend of a brassy-haired widow on the up and up without having some strong inducement so to do. And they say women are spiteful, exclaimed Beulah scornfully. Do you also imagine there's a tie-up between her and Dan Sittencurrow? She is a friend of his as well. Good God, said Timothy. I wonder if there's any insanity in the Ellerbecks. Sittencurrow is considered to be rather an attractive type. What does he attract? Pond life? Apparently Lady Nest Polton, if you call her a form of pond life. Oh, geez. No, but an unsteady type. Sort of woman who used to go to Limehouse for a thrill in the wicked 20s. That may be it. Of course, though, I should rather describe your Charles Street setup as a menagerie. Really, Timothy, she expostulated. Lots of perfectly respectable people come to the house. I will grant you a sprinkling of fairly harmless types who probably feel that if Lady Nest knows Mrs. Haddington, she must be all right. You don't suppose that Colonel Cartmel or Sir Roderick Vickerstown would be influenced by that, do you? No, my love, I don't. It is well known that both these aged crocodiles will lend the cachet of their presence to almost any house where the food and the wines are first class. Does your respected employer buy exclusively on the black market? If I knew, I shouldn't tell you. After all, she does employ me. So she does. What, by the way, is your precise status in the house? Yes, I know she calls you her secretary, but you appear to me to spend half your time chasing round London with the shopping list. Well, I do her secretarial work, of course. There isn't a great deal of it, so I shop for her as well and see that things are all right when she gives a party and, anything that crops up. And what, inquired Mr. Hart politely, are your hours? I don't have regular hours. I'm supposed to leave at 6, but Mrs. Haddington likes me to be on tap. I'm supposed to leave at 6, but Mrs. Haddington likes me to be on tap. That was difficult to say. Does she indeed? You must be pulling down a colossal screw. Beulah gave a rather bitter little laugh. Unfortunately, I don't belong to a union. I get £3.10 a week and quite a number of meals. If another female is wanted... Whoops, sorry.